My name is Caleb Vigil, and one of the greatest things that I feel that I'll use in my career or in my life in general up to this date is the concept or understanding the concept of doing. What I mean by understanding the concept of doing is that we all have visions of who we want to become, we all have dreams, and we've all been around people that say one thing and do the other thing, whether that's us or one of our friends or random strangers on the street. I think that personally, as an entrepreneur and as someone who wants to have a career in entrepreneurship, doing is the thing that sets a lot of entrepreneurs apart, that sets the successful entrepreneurs apart from the unsuccessful entrepreneurs. And stepping into the unknown is one of the biggest things. It's preparing yourself for the first step of doing, understanding that by taking that first step of action, by psyching yourself up, by realizing that you're a unique person with your own vision and your own values and your own morals that pump you up, and you're unique. And then also understanding that you have to chase that vision in your head. I think Matthew McConaughey, when he accepted a speech at the Golden Globe, said that 5 years ago he was asked, "Who are you chasing?" And he came back with an answer. He said, "I'm chasing myself in 5 years." And just always having that person that you want to become and always having that person you want to chase is vital. And MLK has a great quote that says, "Faith is taking the first step but not seeing the staircase." And I think that is kind of the epitome of action. The epitome of doing is not really understanding where you're going, but having enough faith and having enough confidence in what you're doing that you can take that first step and it's easy. And another huge thing with that is that it just comes back to that vision. We all have a vision of who we want to become, and for the longest time for me personally was my fear of failure had held me back from wanting to achieve a lot of things, a lot of my goals, or really implementing a lot of my ideas into the real world. Because who isn't scared of failure? Who isn't scared of looking like a complete doofus? Or who doesn't want to be successful? And the fear of not being successful is what holds a lot of great people back. But understanding and having the ability to shift your perspective is something that is so vital. And there's so many great stories out there. I'll give you a couple. Jack Andraka was a 15-year-old high school student when he created a pancreatic cancer test at the age of 15 that he took to university, trying to get them to research and fund this test. 199 universities denied the man, or the boy. And on his 200th, he went to John Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, and they gave him funding and they gave him approval. And because John Hopkins did that, the study and the statistics have come back, and his little strip test is 26,000 times less expensive than the normal pancreatic cancer test or the prior pancreatic cancer test, and it's 100 times more accurate and more effective than the previous one. And another huge one is Bill Gates. He had a company called Traffic-Data. That was his first ever company, and it was a traffic analyzation company, or I guess they analyzed traffic data, and it was a complete boff. It was terrible, it failed, and it wasn't a good idea. And he kept chipping away. He kept living with his spirit, and he kept understanding that he wanted to, his first failure wasn't going to hold him back from starting Microsoft, which he eventually did, and now he's one of the richest men in the world. And I think as a person and as someone who aspires to be a great entrepreneur, it's understanding that failure is a perspective, and once you're able to shift your perspective and understand that within failure are lessons, beautiful lessons that you can take and you can throw into the next phase of your life, whether it's your business, whether it's whatever it may be, school or whatever, it'll just contribute to your work ethic so much better. And understanding that failure doesn't define you. What defines you is trying, taking that first step. At least you can say you tried if you failed, because you have to try to fail. So if you took anything away from this, it would be go out there and try the things that you're passionate about, because the worst thing that could happen is you'll learn.